Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya, and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tips, tools, and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you are all doing well. In this episode, I thought it would be nice to go over the different types of Bach Flower essences and their benefits. Bach Flower essences are a gentle and subtle means of restoring peace of mind, body, and spirit. In the 1930s, Dr. Edward Bach researched the benefits of plant-based medicine on our emotional health. He believed that if a patient's emotional balance was corrected, the body's natural ability to throw off illness would be strengthened. He came up with 38 different flower essences. I'm going to go over a few of them today with you, the ones that I have used on my journey and the ones that are the most popular. And you can use your own discernment to see if these would be a benefit for you and your family as well. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the essences that really benefited me is aspen. Aspen is for people who have fears and worries of an unknown origin, people who feel generally nervous and anxious. Aspen is really helpful for children who are experiencing nightmares or night terrors. For those of you who have a very difficult time saying no to others, then Centauri may be the flower essence for you. This is for the people pleasers of the world, the caregivers, those who are taking care of others and find it difficult to take care of themselves. Centauri allows you to take your power back. For those of you who may be an empath out there, hello, me. An empath is someone who soaks up other people's subtle energies very easily. Then Serato could be a good flower essence to help balance that out for you. It's for people who have a difficult time trusting their own judgment and seek advice and confirmation from others. So if you have a difficult time following your own intuition, your own inner guidance, or your own gut instinct, then you may want to look into supplementing with some Serato. If you have a really difficult time moving forward from, say, a past relationship or a past experience, and you find yourself going back time and time again, and you have a difficult time learning from your past mistakes, then chestnut bud could be a good essence for you to try. It is really helpful for cutting cords. So if you have a situation where you keep going back to a partner that no longer serves you, or you keep finding partners that no longer serve you at all in general, then you may want to think about supplementing with chestnut bud as a remedy to help cut those cords. Crab apple is great for people who suffer with OCD or obsessive compulsive disorders. Personally, this was a successful remedy for me. Most of my life, I suffered with OCD. I worked in a hospital setting and I would come home after work and I was really obsessive about germs. Anytime I touch a door handle or a doorknob, I felt like I had to clean it because I was really worried about picking up germs from the hospital and then bringing them home, even if I had washed my hands properly. So crab apple is really good for people who suffer with compulsive disorders. Now, I didn't really notice a difference until about a month after taking it, and I noticed it in retrospect. So I began to notice, wow, I am not really as impulsive or compulsive about cleaning the door handles and making sure that everything is in its place as much as I was in the past. And so for me, it was a very gentle and subtle change. Now I find myself not even really worrying about those things anymore. So crabapple was super beneficial for me in overcoming my OCD tendencies. For those of you who may be feeling very overwhelmed by responsibility, you could be taking on a lot of tasks at once. You could be balancing your work life, your personal life, and even your social life all at the same time, and that may seem overwhelming to you, then you may want to look at taking Elm. So Elm is for balancing out self-assurance and being able to handle multiple tasks at once so you don't feel so overwhelmed. If you are someone that you know is feeling very jealous, maybe some feelings of hatred or cold heartedness, then holly is the flower essence for you. The negative side of holly is feelings of jealousy, envy, or even hatred. But the positive side of holly creates balance within a generous heart, so you can give to others very lovingly and willingly without making any demands for anything in return. Honeysuckle is good for people who dwell on the past. If you find yourself circling on past events, then you may want to look into honeysuckle. Impatience is for someone who suffers with severe impatience. If you find it difficult to slow down or you get very irritated easily, you may want to look into taking impatience. Mimulus is for the fear of known things. This is great for people who are afraid of public speaking. Maybe you suffered from an incident in the past where people ridiculed you or picked on you when you got up in front of a crowd, and now you have this absolute fear of public speaking. It works for other fears too, like maybe a fear of animals or spiders or even death for that matter. Mimulus is wonderful for balancing out those negative energies. Olive is for people with a lack of energy. It's great for those who are exhausted in their mind, their body, and their spirit. So, this is great after long periods of strain, say through a personal difficulty or a struggle. Olive will bring your energy back into balance. Pine is for people who suffer from severe guilt. So, if something has affected you in the past and you can't seem to let go of the guilt, then pine is great at balancing that out. Red chestnut is for fear or concern of others. So, if you are constantly that person who has a selfless concern and worry about others, then you may want to look at taking some red chestnut. Scleranthus is for people who suffer from indecision. So, if there's someone that you know or yourself that goes back and forth a lot on making decisions, then you may want to look into scleranthus. Star of Bethlehem is the after effects of shock. This essence is for people who suffer from grief, trauma, loss, or may have even been involved in an accident or even received bad news. They could be grieving the loss of a loved one. And Star of Bethlehem is great for any types of trauma. Walnut was actually very, very effective for me. Walnut is for change and outside influences. So it's for those who find it difficult to adapt, to change, who are very oversensitive to maybe certain areas, atmospheres, or influences. This one is great for empaths. All of these Bach Flower essences are safe and gentle, and they're non habit forming, they're non allergenic, and it is safe to mix the flower essences. You can mix, up to 6 in one tincture and dilute them with distilled water. I usually do that. I will muscle test to see which ones that I need. And so I'm often taking anywhere between 2 to maybe 4 or 5 when I am creating my own Bach flower essence remedy for myself. And so if you schedule a session with me, then and you're interested in Bach flower remedies, what I can do is I can muscle test to see which ones would be of most benefit to you if you are interested in that. So now the original essences are made of brandy and water. So there is a little bit of alcohol in there, basically for the purpose of preservation. Now, it is my understanding that they have created some new ones without the alcohol in them. I believe that the Rescue Remedy for Pets doesn't have alcohol, nor does the one for kids. But I do believe that there are other ones out there that don't have the alcohol in them, which is fine. So I haven't tried those. I've only used the ones with the brandy and the water. And so it's up to you. On my website, I have all of these Bach flower remedies listed out, and I have a summary under each one of them. So you can kind of look through and see, which ones may resonate with you. You may say, "Oh, I'm feeling that one." And I also have a link that goes straight to the actual rescue remedy page as well. So if you are interested in the ones that are non-alcoholic, then you can check those out too. And so, like I said, I do anywhere between 2 to 4 drops under my tongue, or neat is what they call it. And so it really depends, though. If you are under a tremendous amount of stress, then 4 drops may not be enough per day. You might want to do 4 drops in the morning, maybe at lunch, and then maybe in the evening. You want to see how your body reacts to the essences. And because basically what it's doing is it's raising your vibration, it's raising our frequency. And so you want to just get a feel for it. Sometimes when you take the rescue remedy, if you take too much of it and then you've got to go to work, you might feel a little drowsy. So you want to make sure that you're taking it, in smaller doses, if that's the case, or maybe just take it at nighttime before you go to bed. Oftentimes, that's what I do. I do love the rescue remedy for pets. I have used that when I moved across the country with my 2 cats. I started dosing them with it about 2 to 3 weeks prior to the move, and it was very calm to get them across the country because they were pretty chilled and pretty relaxed. So if you have some pets and they get really stressed out going to the vet, or if you know that you're going to be traveling with them, I would suggest doing it not like the day of that you take them to the vet. You want to start, supplementing it in their water or in their food at least a couple of weeks prior to the event that that could be causing them some stress. And so I will say, for me, the most powerful one out of all of these, and I only went through a few of them in this episode, but the most powerful for me was wild oat. When I started taking wild oat, basically wild oat, it helps one determine a clear purpose in life when undecided about which path to take. That's why I started taking it, because I knew I was going through an awakening. I knew I was feeling big changes on the horizon. I just didn't know what those changes were. I knew I wanted to move. I was living in Florida at the time. I just didn't know where I wanted to move. So I started taking wild oat, and about 6 weeks to probably 2 months into it is when I woke up one day and I just realized I didn't want to be doing that anymore. So I had gone into the office, and this wasn't even planned, gone into the office and told my boss that I wanted to resign. I was going to give her a nice long resignation. And then I told her, I think I'm moving across the country too. And when she looked at me and said, "You think you're moving?" I said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm moving." I just didn't know, but I knew from a frequency standpoint, it was time for me to take that leap. And this is what wild oat did for me. It really helped me quantum leap into a new timeline. And so, I'm kind of prefacing with a story because I want you all to be aware how powerful these flower essences can be. Some people will take them and say, "Oh, I'm not really feeling anything," while others will take them and be like, "Wow, I just had some massive transitions in my life," which was me. And I continued to take wild oat for about a year after that, because I knew I was going to be going through some major moves and transitions in my life. And so, you know, just be aware that when you take these, it's not like you're going to take it one night and wake up tomorrow and be a different person. It's something that subtly shifts you over time. And if you are doing the inner work, and if you're meditating, if you're, doing the best to remain calm and heal and doing all the things that many of us are doing through this awakening process, then you're going to recognize that these essences are just going to help you do that. They're going to help you move forward in whatever area it may be. And so I've used several of them. Wild oat was one that really made an impact on my life. And also the rescue remedy for pets. Those are the two that I really noticed were quite significant in my life. And so like I said, I've got all of these listed out on my website at theexistentialempath.com. You can just click on emotional health at the tab on the top, and then I have them all listed. And if you can't figure out which one you want, then let me know. Maybe we can book a session and I can muscle test through them for you and see which ones might be best for you. So I hope that this episode was of value to you. I know that these remedies are of value to me, enough for me to want to put them on my website and to offer them to all of you out there, because these are just another tool in our toolbox that we can use, and they are very, very gentle and very safe for not only us, but for our kiddos and for our pets as well. So I look forward to sharing more tips and tools with you soon. You deserve to navigate your life in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.theexistentialempath.com.